There are 4 types of sacrificial seed that doesn't produce results. No matter how you sow it, it will never produce results. 4 different kinds of sacrificial seed. So if you are a Christian, you are a lover of God, you want to do the work of God, you love to sow in the life of someone, the life of your pastor, the life of your spiritual leaders, or you love to sow into the work of God, it's important that you stay with me to the very end of this video, so that when you sow seed, you can get the result of the seed you sow. Number 1 type of seed that will never produce results for you, no matter the amount you put in there, is a seed you grumble to sow. Maybe you were asked to sow the seed, or it came, you decided to sow the seed, but anytime there is an atom of grumbling to obey that spiritual sacrifice, it will never generate the desired results. The scripture teaches that God loves a cheerful giver. The cheerfulness of your heart, the openness of your mind, the cleanliness of your spirit will aid your seed to actually achieve the desired result. So you can actually sow seed, but if you grumble, which means it is not from your heart, it is not from your spirit, spiritually you are not giving it to God, so all you are doing is just a physical part, the spiritual connection is not there. So it is carnality, it is not spirituality. And any sacrifice you make without the spirituality part of it, it will never get to where God is. It will never be accepted by God, because God is a spirit, and those that must worship him in spirit and in truth. So when you are giving a sacrificial seed, and this sacrificial seed, it is not from your heart, it can never be accepted. If you bring it to the altar, your pastor may accept it, but God will not accept it. This is why people give sacrifices and it doesn't generate blessing. He said, but I gave it at the altar and pastor prayed for me. Yeah, the man accepted it, but the Spirit of God rejected it. It is because you grumbled to make that sacrifice. You grumbled to sow that seed. Number 2 kinds of seed that will never produce results for you is a seed you were deceived to sow. There are many fake servants, fake men of God, fake pastors, fake prophets everywhere. Not just the pastors, but native doctors and different kinds of people all over the world. So when you are deceived to sow a seed, that seed will never bring results, because you obey deception of man. And any kind of deception is the work of darkness, is empowered by the devil, which is Satan. And such a work will never generate any blessing from God. When you are deceived into sowing seed, that seed will be futile. You are just feeding the stomach of a man, which is called the stomach infrastructure. You are feeding the stomach of a man. That seed has no spiritual connection. It has no spiritual balance. It has no spiritual blessing. It can never attract any spiritual dividend, because it is a seed sown out of deception. You actually obeyed from your heart. You say, but I obeyed this man of God. I obeyed this instruction. Why did the instruction not bring result as I was told? It is because the person that told you did not hear from God. The person deceived you because of personal gain. So this is the second reason why you sow seed and the seed does not generate result. And how do you overcome this? This is why you need the spirit of discernment. There are some people that will ask you to do some certain things. If you have not received a directive in your spirit, you are not led to do it. You shouldn't do it, because it will never bring blessing. It's just like when someone asks you to do something and you did not do it, so you are forcing yourself to do it. This relates to the first point that we just said, which means that you are grumbling to do it, so it will never bring any blessing. So any seed you sown out of deception, any seed you plant, sacrificial seed, can be money, it can be properties, it can be anything. Sacrificial seed you sow out of deception will never produce result. You were deceived into it. Your eyes need to be open in the spirit for you to know when you are being deceived. So some of you that will say, man of God, how do I know if I'm being deceived? You need the spirit of discernment. The Bible said that the Spirit of God will minister to your spirit, that you know that we are the sons of God. He speaks from his spirit to your spirit. So when somebody asks you to do something and you don't feel good about it, there is no need of you doing it, because it may be an atom of deception. Number 3 kind of seed that will never generate result is a seed that is sown on a ground that is not fertile. It is not every altar that is fertile. It is not every person's life that will fertile. There are those that you just bless, you give them favor, and things will get dried for you. There are those you give them money and money will stop coming to you. the doors will close. There are doors you open door for, your own doors will close, because it is not everyone that carry grace to bring blessings to you. It is not every ground that is fertile. Jesus gave a parable in the Bible that a farmer planted, that some fell on the dry ground, some fell on the fertile soil, some fell on the rock, and some fell on the road. The one that fell on the road, people will walk and will match it, it will die there. The one that fell on the rock, it couldn't germinate, and it died on the rock because there was no good soil. There was no good ground at all. It died on the rock. And one fell on the tongues. All right, the one that fell on the tongues tried to grow up, but because of the toughness and the roughness of the tongues, it died. It got choked up. But only one fell on a fertile ground, and that one grew well. So it's not every ground that is fertile. To understand this better, you need to meet farmers to explain. There are some plants you don't plant in some certain soil. There are some plants that will never grow in some certain soil. There are some certain soil that no matter what you plant there, it will never grow well. So when you begin to plant something on a ground that is not fertile, it will never germinate, it will never produce. Fertile on this context, we're talking about altars, all right? We're talking about priests. We are talking about those that parade themselves as men and women of God, as prophets and pastors. It is not all of them that actually genuinely called, and it's not all of them that you are ought to sow to. It's not every altar that is fertile. It's not every altar that has fire. Anywhere you give and nothing comes, no blessing, and you continue giving there, and you have actually recognized that there is nothing good coming out from there, you need to have a rethink and pray for divine direction, because it may be a sign that that ground is not fertile. There are people apart from men of God, apart from pastors, because sowing seed and giving is not limited to the servant of God. It's not limited to the quote, the called, all right? You can give to the less privileged. You can give to someone that need help. But there are people that need help that you will give. Their life is not fertile and you will never get blessed. What I'm saying now is very deep. You really need to calm down for you to understand this. It's not everyone that you give that blessings will come to you. There are people you will give. Instead of blessing, you will attract curse from them. And that is why you need to be led before you give. It's not everyone that comes to beg you, oh, please, I need something, I need money, I need food, that you give to. There are those that you give to, they came to you with an ulterior motive. Some of them came from the dark kingdom. They are an agent into your life. And when you give to them, because you are not prayerful enough and you are not spiritually sensitive, things begin to happen to you negatively, and it will affect you until prayer is made. So you need to really be sensitive. Your spiritual alertness needs to be, all right, on point, so that you will not give into the place you're not supposed to give. The last one, which is number 4 kind of seed that will never produce results, is the seed that you sow out of pretense. We see the example of this pretense from the life of Ananias and Sapphira. You are sowing seed out of pretense. You are doing it because others are doing it. You are in an environment, you are in a church where people are giving to the work of God. Because you saw others are giving, that's why you're going to give. Not because you want to do it from your heart or from your capacity or for God to bless you. Look at the story of Ananias and Sapphira. The Bible said that the people of the church, they were selling their lands. Some were selling their properties, bringing the money to the apostles' feet. And they saw what others are doing. They said, okay, we need to go and do our own, so that the pastor will know that we too, we sold our land and brought money. And they went and sold their land. They divided the money into 2. And they agreed with the husband, said, man, you will go first. Tell the pastor that this is the whole money. And later I will come. So when he asks me, I will still tell him that this is the whole money, so that the lie will agree and the lie will rhyme. And the man of God will believe us. And the husband carried the money, went to apostle, and he went to Peter. When he got there, Peter asked him, is this the whole money that you sold the land? And that makes me to understand that the Spirit of God must have spoken to Peter to understand that there is a lie that is about to happen. And he asked him, and the man said, yeah, this is the whole money we sold the land. And immediately he gave that lie. The man died immediately. And he called boys, they went to go and bury him. And some hours later, the woman came, not knowing what had happened to the husband. And Peter asked him again, is this the whole money that as your husband said? And the woman agreed, yes. And immediately the woman died. And that's why I tell you that the wife of Ananias, which is Sapphira, died because she came late to church, not because she actually lied. Had it been she was there on time, she would have known what happened to the husband. All right. So it's not good to give out of deception. It's not good to give out of eye service. It's not good to make sacrifices because others are doing it. It will never bring blessing. Instead, it will generate curses and bad things for you. So when you are in a group of people, you are in a church, a godly environment, others are giving. Give according to your capacity. The Lord loves a cheerful giver. I pray for you that as you take these instructions and do it in the right way, I pray that all your seed will begin to produce results. All your sacrifices we begin to produce results. If this video bless you and you felt to bless our ministry, please do not forget, make use of the account details on the screen and bless our ministry. God bless you. See you next time in our next video.